Hi guys, and welcome back to World of Tanks, and today I'm going to be looking at the new Chinese premium tier 8 TD, the Yazi, I think that's how you pronounce it, WZ-120-1G FT, so yeah, quite a name. I've actually just taken to calling it the Yahtzee, you know, like the dice game, because yeah, that's what it sounds like, so yeah, this is the Yahtzee to me now. So anyway, yeah, the Yahtzee, it's Tier 8 Chinese TD. We've had the new Chinese TD line today. As you can see, I'm on the press account again. So yeah, I just wish I had that much free XP on my own account. So yeah, back on the press account, and as you can see, I've also got all the lovely new Chinese TDs all here. Look, where are we? Tier 8, the Tier 9, the Tier 10. So over the next few days, and I've got a lot of work to do because not only is the Yahtzee review, there is also the most gorgeous looking tank in World of Tanks, probably, the Alpine Tiger WZ-111, which I will also be reviewing when I can talk. And I've got to say, it just looks gorgeous. The fact that it's in relief and stands out from the tank, yeah, well done. But I'll talk about that more and give it a bit more praise, and whoever designed it needs a raise. In the actual video for it today, we're going to be looking at the Yahtzee, or the Yazi. I'm going to have to stop calling it a Yahtzee. So it's a Tier 8 TD, and basically, as you can probably tell by the designation, the WZ-120, it is based on the Type 59. Yeah, I know I said the WZ-120 and the Type 59, but yeah, the Type 59 and the WZ-120 are essentially the same. The Type 59 that we have in game is almost like a stock WZ-120, which is the Tier 9 Chinese medium. And both were the actual designation of that tank in real life. So that's probably got you a little bit excited already, those of you that sort of like your TDs and your mediums and maybe know about the Type 59 or have got a Type 59 and love it. You might be thinking, oh, hang on a minute, based on a Type 59, sounds good. And yeah, it is quite good. I'm enjoying it. As you probably know, I'm not a great turretless TD driver. I do have the SU-122-44, probably my oldest premium on my account, or nearly my oldest, and I've only just got one mark on it very recently. Not been in it a lot, but I do jump in it every now and again and have a bit of fun, and I have got better in them. And this kind of feels like a Tier 8, and I'm not talking about the gun here, because the SU-122-44 does have a slightly bit low pen. The tank itself, mobility-wise, does feel like a Tier 8 SU-122-44. It's very mobile. It's actually got a better power-to-weight ratio than the Type 59, and it's quite an enjoyable tank. And the gun is quite nice as well. Rate of fire is alright. A bit low pen for the type of gun, or the size of caliber, should I say. A lot of them are sort of in the 250s. For this sort of thing, but the pen's not bad. The damage is there. Does struggle a little bit against some of the Tier 10s, so you're going to have to fling a few premium rounds down range. Although I've not really had much call. I mean, I'm judging that on because there's the odd Tier 9 that it did struggle with a little bit at the front. But yeah, you've got your heat rounds to sort of fall back on, but you are probably, when you get into the Tier 10 matches, maybe going to have to throw a few heat downrange at some people, so it's just one of those things. So the pen is good, but it's slightly lower than sort of comparable guns on Tier 8 Tech Tree TDs, if you get my meaning. Now, let's go into... Oh, it plays up to Tier 10, by the way, and when you see the camo rating, it is one sneaky tank as well. You get a 580 horsepower engine, 122mm gun, the 60-122-1G FTA, huge, long designation. Probably a variant of one of the 122s. Looks very similar to the 122 actually on the WZ-111 or the WZ-120 even, possibly at Tier 9. Something I did forget to check. I do apologise. But you get a rate of fire of 5.66 rounds a minute, 248 pen and 440 damage, so a nice healthy damage, 310 on your premium rounds. So even those may struggle against the odd Tier 10, possibly frontally, but you should be alright. And your HE is 61 and 530, aiming time 2.9 seconds, so not too bad. It's a biggish gun with a fair whack. There are some that are a bit better, there are some that are worse. Accuracy at 0.37, so not too bad either. And in fact, kind of compares closely to I think the 122mm, if memory serves me right, on the SU-101, which is the other Russian Tier 8 TD, not the ISU-152, so it kind of does compare a little bit to that. Very good hull traverse, 42 degrees a second, that is really good. And there's not much, when your driver's alive that is, that can circle you actually. There's obviously light tanks, some of your really fast mediums, but some of the stuff you can turn as quick as it can circle you, so it's not too bad. And kind of, like I say, kind of reminds me of the SC-122-44 in that respect, because a lot of the time the mobility of that tank does catch people out. They expect to be able to circle it, and it can keep up with them and just destroys them. I know, yeah, traverse speed on there, it's basically on the gun. The gun does move from side to side very quickly, 44 degrees, 360 metre view range, 600 metre signal range. Now, the 360 metre view range, again, it's been that long since I've done any TD sort of stuff. It's let's just have a look at the tech tree one. 370, so I think that's about average. Maybe slightly on the low side for a Tier 8 TD, but again, I'm not familiar with them. It's something I just forgot to look up, but yeah, view range isn't bad on it. Equipment wise, well, I've probably got the wrong equipment set up on here, to be honest. I've put codes, I've got it set up at half medium, half TD, I suppose. Gun lane drive, the aim time, even though it's not too bad, the targeting circle does feel as though it takes a long time to settle down once you stop moving. When you've moved to somewhere, that first sort of period of settling down does seem to take a long while. So I've put the gun lane drive on there, I've put the gun rammer on there, and I've just stuck some binoculars on there, although to be honest I've sort of struggled to keep still long enough to actually use them effectively. It seems, and I could be wrong in this, but it seems to have slightly more traverse to the right rather than to the left. It doesn't, and I could be wrong, but it doesn't seem to go to the left quite as much. If it does in fact do that, it doesn't seem to be by much. But yeah, I kind of like this. I would kind of like to add this to my garage. Like I said, I do like the SU-122-44, do take it out every now and again. And yeah, it's kind of, well, it looks like a bit of a squashed one. Really, it's just a bit shorter. And that Alpine Tiger, you see the tank looks gorgeous, the pen's a bit anemic, but I'm not going to talk about that now. But yeah, I'd like to add both of these to my garage. I have been having fun in this. So, supplies wise, 1065 for your AP, armor piercing rounds. It's a big caliber gun, so it's about average again for the tier. 4,800 for your heat, which again is about average, and 630 for your explosive. I've just put standard consumables on it. Skill wise, to be honest, most of you are going to be TD drivers. They'll probably have a much better idea of what skills to put on here than I do at the moment. Me personally, I would probably go for Sixth Sense. I would probably go for some of the camo skills, like camo, maybe muffled shot, that sort of thing, for when I am sort of sat back a bit more in the higher tier matches. But I would also go for things like clutch braking to improve the already good hull traverse as well, for those times where you do want to get in there a little bit. And sometimes in this you can get in there a little bit. It can take it. I was bouncing a Patriot earlier off the front of this, so and it wasn't at long range, that was fairly close up, so it just kind of gives you an idea. But you've really got to get used to it. There is, it's like the SC-122-44 again. I know I keep saying it, but there's some tanks that you can just you can kind of get away with bouncing, and there's others that you can't, and it's kind of the same in this. But bouncing the Patriot did surprise me, I've got to admit. But yeah, and I'd also go for repairs, that sort of thing, and probably situational awareness. So I'd kit it out skill wise, sort of half TD, half medium tank, and that's probably kind of how I'd use it, and kind of how I have been using it sort of up to now. But let's go into the modules and everything and see what it actually says there. So, power to weight ratio 16.11, which isn't bad for a TD. It does feel fairly mobile. That's a better power to weight ratio, I think, than the Type 59. Not by much, but it's there, and it is a bit better. 50 km an hour top speed, again quite nice. 20 in reverse, and a 12% chance of fire. So a low chance of fire. However, I have been set on fire in this tank through the front. Same sort of problem as Type 59 WZ-120. A lot of the Chinese stuff, it does have engine components in the front. I believe it's a fuel tank, but I could be wrong. so I have been set on fire through the front, through the lower glacis, so do be aware of that. Preventative maintenance might be prudent on this one. Gun-wise, well, we've now got the accuracy on moving, 0.57, as you can see, not great. I've missed a few shots on the move. I kind of feel with the SU-122-44 would have gone in, but then again, you have the ghost of Stalin guiding your shells occasionally, because it's Russian. 15 on elevation, so not great. It could be better, but not bad. 6 on depression as well. So again, a bit lower. Not bad, workable. I kind of wish it was sort of just a degree or so better, but I think with -8 it'd be too OP, but -7 possibly. But again, definitely workable. And while I'm here as well, yeah, the concealment, 0.44 stationary and 0.28 on the move. This is sneakier than in Borsig, and my voice is going now. Excuse me, quick drink of coffee. Yeah, sneakier than a Borsig. It's got better camo ratings than a Rheinmetall Borsig, and we all know how sneaky those little buggers can be. So yeah, very sneaky tank. Terrain resistances are quite nice as well, 1, 1.2 and 2. So they're quite nice. So it's kind of average. I say they're nice, but yeah, it's average. They could be worse, it could be better, but they're all right. It works, and it's manoeuvrable enough, definitely. Radio in the left-hand side of the hull, for those of you that are interested. Ammunition blocks. Well, you've got more of a chance of doing it, or hitting the ammunition from the right-hand side, as you can see there, just at the back of the upper superstructure. And there is one at the front, again, kind of like the Type 59, it's behind that fuel tank, bit of a daft place. And if you're at the back of one of these things, that one down below the engine is probably going to be the hardest to hit, but you've got one that stretches almost all the way across the back of the superstructure as well. Wrong button. Crew members, you've got the driver down in the front, and then you've got the commander under a very, very small commander's hatch. That's the other thing about this, the hatches are very small on top. And then you've got the loader and gunner up there as well. And I'm assuming it'll be the commander that doubles up as the radio operator, seeing he's sat next to it. Now, armour profile. Now, I made the assumption, because this isn't in Tankopedia yet. It's not on there yet, so I've got the stats from somewhere else. I've actually got them from Carbide, Community Manager, who gave me the stats. And I made the assumption that with it being based on the Type 59, it'd have 100mm of armour on the front, and it doesn't. It's more like the WZ-120. It's actually got 120mm physical thickness on the front. You then have 80 on the sides and 45 on the rear, so quite nicely armoured as well. You can see there's a slightly thicker patch as well just below the gun, which is the track, and it even looks as though it has some spaced armour along the sides there, which I didn't notice before, I must admit. So yeah, that looks pretty nice. So 1 to 20 is your engine deck. Top of the superstructure, which is, it's kind of where you expect, really. Not the top of the commander's hatch, but the other hatch as well. And the hull floor, when I can talk, when I can think what I'm going to say. Yeah, the hull floor, I'm just having a look around it myself. 21 to 30, that's the rear of the upper superstructure. Yeah, that is definitely spaced armour on the side, you can see the angle there. And the lower glacis also fall into that bracket. So again, as with nearly every other tank in the game, just don't let anything get behind you. Which, to be honest, like I said before, with the mobility of this, the turning, it's actually easier to do than you would think. 31 to 50, that's the rear glacis and that small slope bit as well, and the gun. 51 to 70, that's your hull sides, the entire sides, as well as the angle just behind that spaced armour above the tracks, you can just see there. 71 to 90, lower front glacis, small patches on the side of the gun and the sides of the upper superstructure. 91 to 120 are your hatches. In fact, did I miss a hatch bit on there? I don't know if I have, actually. No, the hatches, they are small and they are tough. There you go. So yeah, 91 to 120, you've got your hatches both fall into that with a ring around there. The front of the tank, apart from that patch below the gun and just around the gun where the mantle would be, they're showing as, that would be 120 on the front. 121 to 160, just around the gun as you can see, and that patch where the track is, just underneath the gun, that bit is thicker, so try not to aim for that bit if you can. 161 to 190, small little bit under the gun, and then your 200mm, which is basically just right at the base of the gun where it goes into the actual gun mantle. So yeah, it's a mobile, quite a nice TD. If you're a fan of the SU-122-44, you're probably going to be a fan of this. It is available at the moment in a bundle with the Alpine Tiger. It will become, it's on its own as well. It will be coming in cheaper bundles, and chances are you're probably going to see a sort of an unskinned or a plain version of this tank at some point over the coming weeks, months, whatever. But yeah, I would hazard a guess that there'll be a sort of plain version which will have a slightly cheaper price tag as well. But yeah, like I say, mobile, pretty nice TD, and more reminiscent of the alternate sort of TD line, not the original Russian TD line, but like I say, that's the impression that some of these tanks are giving me, is that they're sort of a bit more reminiscent of that alternate line. This one definitely, like I say, gun-wise. But anyway, enough of me rambling on about it. Let's get into the replays and see how it actually handles. So here we are for the first of the replays, Tier 8 match on Himmelsdorf, and when I first saw this come up I was like, oh, Himmelsdorf, why did it have to be this one? But it wasn't bad on a city map actually. Like I said in the garage, it's manoeuvrable, and anybody who's got the SU-122-44, and you know, like when you top tier, there's certain tanks and they will try and circle you, and you know, it's happened to me and I've seen it happen. And the manoeuvrability of it, the speed that it can traverse, catches people out, and you can just keep your front to them and just sort of, you know, keep up with them and keep your gun on them. And that's how this feels as well. Now, I know I said in the garage I think its power to weight ratio is higher than the Type 59, which it is, but I think it's, if I remember rightly, its terrain resistances might be slightly worse, although don't quote me on that, I could be slightly wrong. But I think both of these matches are actually Tier 8. I think I've just realised, yeah, they are both Tier 8. Now, this does play up to Tier 10. I never got in a Tier 10 match in it all day. And I think I only got in one Tier 9 match. So, you know, I've had pretty favourable matchmaking in it today. I wouldn't take that as a sort of given, you know, that you're always going to get favourable matchmaking in it. It's just how it's happened for me today. But I'd say when you're in Tier 9 matches, you're going to have to play it more cautiously, more sort of traditional tank destroyer sort of play style, you know, staying back a little bit. Yeah, that was unfortunate. I didn't wait for the aim. You can see what I mean when you've moved, how long it takes that aim to settle down. And that is probably my only gripe with this. Maybe the slightly lower pen. But then again, you know, it's not too bad when you top tier. It's more than enough. Most, you know, there's a lot of Tier 9s that it won't struggle against, or it shouldn't do. And you do have that heat to fall back on. Tier 10, I would have liked to have got it into a Tier 10 match just to try it against some Tier 10s. But I do feel that when you're against Tier 10s, there are a few of them that you're probably going to have to switch to your premium ammunition to actually to pen the front of them if that's all you've got. And yeah, donk that shot. But I've had to be fairly aggressive in this match, and it's not going too bad at the moment. Getting a bit frustrated, only got one hit, but there's another one. But I do like this, and yeah, like I said, you know, when you're not top tier, you're going to have to play it more cautiously and sort of stick to the more traditional sort of tank destroyer role. And I'm expected to take a hit from him there. Yeah, I do. But I managed to get a hit in return. Bounced something. And that medium soon pulls back out of the way. But you're going to be able to sit back and sort of take that more traditional tank destroyer role because of its really good camouflage rating. It is good, you know, it is good and stealthy. It's quite low profile as well. And one thing I like about it is that it's, with it being manoeuvrable, it can get around the battlefield and go to where it needs to be. So if you end up, say on Redshirt, you end up going, you know, one way, and not much stuff goes that way, but you know, quite a bit comes the other way, and you know, you need to get across there. You can get across there quick enough, I think, to get into a position and try and do something about it. Now at the minute I'm going to try and get out of here. There's an IS-3 behind me, and I'm expecting to take a hit from him. And yeah, there we go. And he takes out my tracks. I'm not going to repair them because it just knocked me around the corner. So I'm just going to get out of there in case he comes up behind me. But I'm going to go and try and help out this heavy tank down here. And see what I can do with the Super Pershing. I've got his side, but I've got to just wait for that aiming circle to settle down. You see, I did risk it before it was fully aimed, but that's because basically the whole tank was just filling the aiming circle. But yeah, that's it. It's just waiting for it to settle down after that initial sort of when you stop moving. That was very lucky. A bit of a mercy roll there against me. Left me on 32 health. But it's not going too bad in this round. It went a lot better than I expected it to be honest. I didn't expect to have quite as good a round as I did. But I am enjoying this. Like I say, I enjoyed the SC-122-44. I don't take it out overly often. Or I didn't take it out for a long time, but actually I've been taking it out a bit more recently. In fact, I think I've got a replay saved up for it that I was going to use at some point soon in a random destruction. With quite a nice ammo rack in it, I think. But yeah, this is one I personally do like this tank. I'm not, you know, as I've said before, I'm not a huge turretless TD tank destroyer sort of fan at the moment. I am kind of starting to enjoy them. Playing a few more of them recently, the T28 and a couple of others. But yeah, unfortunately, T69 managed to get out of that corner. I was just looking to see when he popped up, but it was a bit late. I know I'd been spotted, but I actually thought it was the T29 up on the hill, which is what I was concentrating on getting out of the way of, and the T69 managed to get alongside me, or well, come popping out that side street and finish me off. But not bad, got an ace out of it. Again, I don't put too much stock in it on release day. You know, it's set a little bit lower, but still over 3,000 damage. I was quite happy with that. Yeah, definitely happy with that in a TD on a city map as well, like Himmelsdorf. I did bounce one shot, I think, but not really many more. Most of them went through. Oh no, I bounced a couple, didn't I? I bounced one as I backed off from that T28, and then I bounced from the Black Prince, and that was it. I'm trying to think what tank it was. So you'll see, I think I get a couple more bounces in this one, and a bit of an example of the manoeuvrability that I've been on about. I mean, as usual with this, you know, the price, it's a hero tank version, so the price is set higher than the others. It's just something that, you know, I've mentioned it before, it looks like they're going to keep doing it, so, you know, it's just one of those things that you just deal with it, don't you, really? If you want it now, you pay that slightly higher price, and if not, wait a little bit, and there'll most likely be a clean version coming out, which will be a bit cheaper. But yeah, like I say, with me being a fan of the SC-122-44, I think I am going to possibly pick this one up. I've been having fun in it. I like them because, like I said before, when you are top tier, you can afford to be fairly aggressive in it, and it's the same deal with the, you know, with that one as well. And I know I keep comparing it to that because it kind of does feel like that. Apart from the gun having different, you know, different values, obviously. That has lower pen, but it's tier lower, but has a much better rate of fire. But the rate of fire on this isn't too bad, and it does, you know, it does feel very Russian, which is, you know, understandable. It's based on the Type 59, which was in turn, I believe, based on the T-54, if memory serves me rightly. So you know, it's all sort of linked. And I think the Tier 8 Tech Tree TD has a very similar gun, if not the same gun as this. So yeah, I think I'm going to possibly enjoy going down that line. In fact, it might be the TD line that I really put some focus into, but we'll have to see. But at least with doing the videos on it, I'll be able to see what they're like and see whether I do want to sort of go down that line. But anyway, back to this match. Tier 8 again. And I was going to try and cover that other way. Got a bit bored. I think that is my issue. That's not my issue, that's my problem when I'm in TDs. I get bored. And I just think, oh, I'll just go up here and see what's up here. And then normally run into trouble. But this OI, he has given me a bit of a hit. What he's done. But you saw there, the shell did veer off and just clipped his turrets. I was lucky that that one got him. Now something else has spotted me. There's a TD, not TD, a heavy behind me. I'm going to see if I can deal with any of these guys across here. Took a bounce. I didn't need to pull back, but I'm glad that I did because it meant that Artie missed. And again, that shell veered and just went into his tracks harmlessly below his hull. This one hopefully shouldn't. There we go. Now, I'm not worried about them hurting me, but that Artie... Yeah, I think I need to possibly move. But I do take the risk and just risk one more shot at him. I'm trying to judge the reload of that Artie. I think I get one more shot off before he gets another one at me. And I'm not sure if I just heard one crash down, so that was lucky, and I was pushing it a bit there. But I think that's why I like these TDs that you can be a bit more aggressive in. Because I do get a bit bored in them. And that normally lands me in trouble in TDs. But at the moment, I am in a bit of trouble. I've got a Hurling Hund who's already hit me once, tracked me. The defender then tracked me, which was very lucky. But now I can get round on him and put a shot into him before he can get his turret on me, which was quite fortunate. And I'm quite glad I was in this TD and not some of the others that I've been playing recently. I think that defender probably would have had me. There's the Hurling Hund. I do manage to hit him on the move, and I think that's probably the first time I have hit anything on the move in this, apart from being very, very close. Not quite enough to keep him in my sights. I did have to stop. Obviously with moving, the turning circle is a lot bigger. When I stopped, I could turn a lot tighter. But yeah, ram the little sod. Now, I'm not quite sure what happened there, if I clipped him twice or set him on fire. I don't think I set him on fire. We'll have to see. I do miss, again, firing on the move, trying to get myself into a better position with a bit more cover. But that Patriot did bounce, which I was quite thankful of. But, yeah, see on the map just behind me, to the left? Yeah, I didn't. And that's when I realised that I put myself in a very awkward position there. And somehow managed to get myself in between those 4 heavy tanks, but they doubled back, so it was just a bit unfortunate. But I didn't keep an eye on the map, and that's what happens when you're not map aware, kids. But not a bad match anyway. A first class mastery and just under 3,000 damage done with 1,500 blocked. But at least hopefully you'll have been able to get an idea. You know, I know I'm not the best TD driver, I know that. But you'll have at least hopefully been able to get an idea of what it's like. And whether you might want to pick that one up, wait for the clean version, or just give it a miss altogether. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed that one. I'll be back tomorrow with another video for you. So until then, take care out there, and I'll catch you next time. See you later.